Small towns like Oil City are built around family, tradition, and church. But beneath the surface of this small community lies an evil force, the force of Satanism. This 15-year-old Oil City girl says she's been dabbling in Satanism for several years. She says she likes it. What led you to move to?
Just people I know. There were 5 years that just would talk about it and you'd get curious.
She spoke with us on the condition we conceal her identity. She carries the Satanic Bible with her in a backpack that proclaims God is dead. She says she was drawn to Satanism because it's a religion that focuses on the individual. What is it that's so interesting about Satanism?
It always makes me about, like, why you're alive and, what's going on. In the Bible, it talks about God and Jesus and the devil and stuff, and they made everything.
The struggle between good and evil, right?
And Satanism says we're alive, we're people, and we should enjoy our lives on Earth.
It seems very selfish. This is all about you.
Mostly. I mean, if you can be happy by making others happy, then that's a good thing, And it says that, you should be nice to people that you like and not be nice to people you don't like, and you shouldn't pray for your enemies and all that.
Are there a lot of kids in Oil City into Satanism, into the occult?
Yeah.
Why? Why Oil City?
Maybe because it is so small,
Nothing to do?
Yeah.
A boredom kind of thing. Christopher Hill is pastor of the Free Methodist Church. Hill says he's well aware of the undercurrent of evil surrounding his community and the young people who live here. Hill says he found a pentagram painted on his church doors.
Demonic Satanism, really is real, and we might think it's fictional, but it isn't. And so there is something, a danger we have to lose our teens to in that. And we might think, and they might even think initially, we're just playing around. But there is a great danger there.
Do you worry about the youth of this community?
I worry about youth everywhere, yes. I really do. My heart breaks because I do see the potential.
The potential of young people like 17-year-old Ben. Ben says he became interested in Satanism after God turned a deaf ear to his prayers. When you were a little boy, were you taught about God and good and evil, and Satan was evil and God was good?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to all of that? Did you let that go? Did you say, oh, that's baloney?
Mm-hmm. Because after so long, you pray to God and nothing happens, so just fall back on something else.
There are no statistics showing how many young people here choose to convert to Satanism. The police department monitors cult activity, but not the number of kids involved in it. Still, everyone here knows it exists, and everyone is worried. Pastors, police, and social workers in Oil City say until the youth of this community is offered something more positive, Satanism will continue to offer them a way out of what this self-described teenage Satanist calls a living hell. Is this something you think this is the way you will live the rest of your life?
Well, yeah, but it's not like a big thing. It's like just trying to be happy.
The teen years can be difficult for kids and parents alike. It's not unusual, after all, for teenagers to gravitate to whatever's popular. And in Oil City, Satanism is becoming distressingly hip. Kim Young, Newswatch 35. Jim Jackson was enjoying a quiet lunch at home when suddenly someone was at his door pounding for help. When Jackson opened the door, he found his neighbor Michelle States bleeding profusely. She'd been attacked with a sledgehammer. Jackson called 911 for help.
An emergency.
Yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yes. I have an emergency. I'm at lot 137 in Rainbow Valley Mobile Home Park.
Okay.
The neighbor just knocked on my door. She is bleeding badly. I would say hurry, sir. I'm worried about her. She's got a lot of blood loss. I just don't know what to do.
All right. Can you stop the bleeding?
Okay. I don't even know. The bleeding is coming from the head.
Okay. What you need to do is go find a towel and then come back to the phone while I talk to the state police.
Tell me if it hurts. I'm just dabbing.
Okay. We need to hold that right on there and stop the bleeding.
Oh my God.
Okay. The state police and the ambulance are already on the way.
Michelle States was flown to Hammett Medical Center, where she's listed in serious condition. Police arrested States' 17-year-old son, Mark, and charged him as an adult with attempted murder. Neighbors say Mark States has had problems with drugs and alcohol. In fact, Newswatch 35 has learned that Mark States was released from Hammett Behavioral Health only the day before this brutal attack. Jim Jackson is praying for Michelle States tonight and the people who helped him try and save her.
Thank God for people on the other end of 911 that can tell you what to do, because I felt very worthless. I didn't know what to do.
This is how most of us came to know Tom Parmenter. We watched as firefighters freed him from his tiny home and took him to the hospital for medical help. Now, a year later, Parmenter is alone in his battle with weight. It's a battle full of triumphs and defeats. A year later, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I've made some progress in the last 5 to 6 months. Made a lot of progress.
When we first met Tom Parmenter, he hadn't been able to sit up or stand in more than 3 years. Now Tom says he's able to do both.
When he first brought me home, it took 7 to 9 people to sit me up. I can do it by myself. I usually have help, all right, just to be on the safe side. But I can't sit up by myself.
And you couldn't do that a year ago?
Couldn't do that a year ago.
What are some of the other things that you couldn't do a year ago that you can do now?
Well, I can stand up.
For the first time in 4 years, Tom Parmenter can stand up. He hasn't been weighed, but Parmenter guesses he's down to around 500 or 525.
You hear people losing weight, 60, 70, 80 pounds, My goal is to get down to about 250. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. They don't need Richard Simmons. They don't need Diet Center or anything like that. All they need is confidence in themselves and people to help them.
We should smile. Funny doesn't even begin to describe it. Ron and his sleepy daughter Deanna were up at the crack of dawn to catch an early flight out of Cleveland.
Good service.
So far, so good. Next, it was on to the ticket counter to check in.
Okay, I need to see your photo ID.
I forgot it.
Oh, don't say that.
I know.
That Ron, he's such a kidder. After spending some time at the Continental counter, we finally realized Ron was flying Delta. But once we get to the right counter, Ron made a startling discovery.
Oh, I knew I forgot something.
7:35 a.m. in the morning?
Crap. Did you forget your tickets?
I probably did.
Oh, don't tell me you forgot.
I'm serious. They were right in my van. That's how I had the package right there.
Is it at your house?
Yeah, at my house. In my van. I knew I forgot something.
Well, to add to the drama, Ron discovered the keys to his van were in his pocket, so we had to call a locksmith. While I'm panicking, Ron is trying to explain his dilemma.
This is the problem. Now, I forgot my tickets. But I called here last week to confirm them, so I was wondering if they might be in the computer. Holman.
There will never be an electronic ticket. There's no electronic tickets internationally. So we desperately need some sort of a ticket.
So with phones in place, the Delta people helped us figure out what to do.
Oh, my goodness. I don't believe this.
Finally, with the whole staff of Delta's help, Ron and Deanna were cleared for takeoff. And after a mad dash through the airport, Ron and Deanna were finally on their way.
We got you. Hi, Ronnie.
Okay, I'll see you.
Have a wonderful time.
All right, okay.
Ron and Deanna should arrive in Tokyo late tonight. And about 72 hours later, Erie's Olympic ambassador will carry the torch for us all. Kim Young, Newswatch 35.
But we begin this noon with a field trip to the fields on a warm spring day to find out if the weather is a help or a hindrance. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Zampa. Here on the North Coast, Mother Nature can either be our worst enemy or our best friend. With the recent gift of unseasonably warm weather, most of us are praising Mother Nature for her kindness. Most of us, except that is for area fruit farmers. Newswatch 35's Kim Young joins us now from Mason Farms in Lake City. Kim, why aren't fruit farmers happy about our early spring?
Well, Lisa, they would be happy if this early spring lasted maybe a day or two at the most, but area fruit farmers say with this continued warm spell, they are in danger. These crops here, we're standing by a dwarf apple tree. These crops are in danger. You can see that the buds are out right now, and these crops are in danger if this warm weather continues, and then we're hit with a cold spell, which is likely to happen. Well, one of those fruit farmers joins us now. We are actually at Mason Farms, and this is John Mason Sr. What's the danger? The buds are out, so that's great.
Well, that's good if we have this kind of weather from now through next fall. The biggest problem is this is very early for us to have this, like you said, extended time of warm weather. Normally we have a couple days, but not this long at a time. And if the buds get out too far, which
like
you see these
here,
starting
right.
to here, if they keep progressing, we have 4 or 5 more days, they might start to come out and start blossom. And your actual flowers are already down in that bud that's going to turn into an apple. And if it got real cold real quick or anything like that, or any period of time, it could freeze that and then damage the bud and you wouldn't have any apples.
Let's walk across here. If we can walk across here. John also has grapes over here. And the danger with grapes, John, most of us here on the North Coast think that grapes are a hardy crop. What's the danger?
Well, the problem is if you look real close right here, these buds are starting to swell up. Now, a week ago, you couldn't even hardly see them buds. Right. They were real tiny things like this right here.
Right.
And they've started to swell up with this heat since last Thursday. And if it stays like it is right now much longer, these are going to start doing just what them apple leaves were doing. They're going to start coming out and leafing out. And if they start doing that and you come off with a real cold weather like 20, 22 degrees, you can damage that bud. That's why that bud isn't there in the middle of the winter, because it can't take that. And it's coming out now because of this warm weather. So it's a real worry about if it stays like this for too long.
All you have to do is keep your fingers crossed.
There
That's
you
what
go.
you do every single year anyway.
That's about all you can do.
That's all you can do. Lisa, as you heard, the fruit farmers here just don't like this weather, and we'll keep you posted, certainly, on what's going to happen with these crops.
All right, Kim Young, thank you very much for that report. Well, the weather gets even more important than